What a title. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and SHaw is ridiculous. It goes from Iron Man to Winter Soldier to Wakanda forever! Just in the trailer alone, this movie was crazy, but is it what we've come to expect with the Fast and Furious franchise? Fast and Furious is my guilty pleasure franchise. I wasn't the biggest fan of the street racing, VCR stealing days. It was bank vaults between cars and cars falling out of planes and driving through skyscrapers that really got me hooked. It's always been dumb fun action with surprisingly a lot of heart, and the series knows exactly what it is. Hobbs and SHaw was no different, and I thought it was fantastic. The opening is a little odd, it's more
secure channel 7.
7 secure. Did you do anything fun Saturday night?
Than the expected. The opening did serve the story in terms of exposition, which is the point. It just didn't feel in line with how the franchise usually opens. You see, I'm a man of culture, and I demand my franchises to have some consistency, damn it! Before I get into our title characters, I want to talk about the story for a moment. In true Fast and Furious fashion, it's bloody ridiculous and basic as hell. Ooh, there's these two guys that aren't so different, but think they are. The world needs saving, but will they be able to put aside their differences? We've seen it in Fast 5, we've seen it in Monsters University, we saw it in Avengers. It's a simple plot, but it does and can work. So, you've got the opening scene for that new Hobbs and SHaw movie for me. Yes sir, I do. What is it? So, I'm thinking that we open with a stealth raid. Ooh, I like it. It's a little different from the series, but I'm sure a more serious opening will be followed by a more serious film. Oh no, it's still going to be ridiculous. Okay, so what happens after? So we're going to have Hobbs and SHaw go through the same plot for the first half of the film. Oh, so it's like a metaphor. Nope, but you just gave us our Oscar campaign. Then what happens? So they're both going through the same plot, find out mostly the same clues, and be in mostly the same places, but they're not going to like each other. So we're basically going to waste the audience's time. Yeah. Get out of my office. That sounds like the dumbest shit. It was amazing. The first half of this film was far and away the best part. The split screen scenes with Hobbs and SHaw were pretty creative and I really liked them. There was one scene where it's literally the same scene in two locations and both characters go through the exact same motions, even down to the corny line, but the way it was cut was just great. It's like this film had 10 points and they had to split them between plot and creativity, and then they gave every point to the latter, and then they stole 10 more points from a skyscraper and put those into comedy. Okay, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and SHaw is not the pinnacle of comedy. It's not Superbad or Hot Fuzz levels of comedy, it's dumb comedy. The lines are dumb and the visual gags are dumb, but good god if I wasn't laughing throughout the majority of this film. It's downright absurd and I never got bored. It's definitely the funniest of the Fast and Furious films, and I think the majority of that came from Hobbs and SHaw's chemistry as frenemies. The way they work off each other is amazing. We got a great hint of this in the breakout scene in Fast 8, and the writers seem to know this. A lot of the scenes with Hobbs and SHaw together are just more of that. It's like, here is a problem, fortunately there are two very different yet oddly similar solutions. It's a metaphor. Last good thing, this film is surprisingly heartfelt. It's no Up or Inside Out or John Wick, but real quick, there was one fight scene that was straight out of John Wick. The lighting and the colours and the camera work were fantastic. Tangent on a tangent, the camera work here was really nice too. The shots are clear and creative, and the lighting is nice. There are some problems with the look of the film, but they're not with the camera. As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted myself twice. This film, as with most of the Fast and Furious films, was surprisingly heartfelt. It had some really nice moments, and while I wasn't crying my eyes out, these moments were a nice respite from the balls-to-the-walls action that this film is built on. There were three main problems with this film. The biggest one was what seemed to be an overuse of CGI.
Oh, Your Highness, I'm sure it's not that noticeable.
This is a series that does the bulk of its stunts practical, and then it fills in the lines with CG. Like, they did this for real, but the CG here was noticeable. And as ridiculous as the film was, it did take me out of the movie. My next problem was the editing, in the second half specifically. The editing in the first half of the film was pretty creative and had great flow, but by the second half of the film, the plot is juggling a few threads and a few different locations, so you'd be watching one scene and it would just... Idris Elba is great, but he was a pretty dumb villain. Even by Fast and Furious standards, he was bloody ridiculous. He was pretty formidable in the first half of the film, but by the second half he was getting on my nerves. The whole villain organisation he was working for was ridiculous too, and honestly, it was my biggest problem in a film full of ridiculousness. I've got a few more points about this film, but they are spoilers, so consider this your warning. Skip to this time for the final verdict. I want to talk about the cameos in this film. Holy shit, they were amazing. Hobbs' agents being Ryan Reynolds and their matching tattoos was amazing, and having him along with Kevin Hart apparently be a part of the Fast universe going forward is something I never knew I wanted. It took me a while to realise that Dwayne Johnson's brother was actually Cliff Curtis, but I guess he's got to earn that paycheck before the Avatar money comes in. The ending sting with the villains apparently carrying into Fast 9 was not a good thing in my opinion. It made sense, but with how much I didn't like the villains, I really don't want to see more of them. But it will remain to be seen if these villains do actually have something more interesting up their sleeve. Overall, I had way too much fun with this movie. It was ridiculous, hilarious, and oddly creative. The plot, script, and humour were dumb as hell, but regardless, I cannot recommend this film enough. It won't revolutionise your view on life, but it is the most fun film I've seen this year, and I'd have no problem seeing it again. The best way to enjoy this film is to suspend your disbelief somewhere in the stratosphere and sit back and relax. Take your friends, grab your popcorn, and enjoy the most ridiculously good film this year. Hey, if you made it this far, why not consider subscribing? I'm actually recording this just before going to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so expect a review on that one soon. I'm really enjoying this style of review, and I'm hoping that it is bringing something new to the table, but if there are any major problems with it, please tell me, because that's how we make better content here. And if you want to see more from my channel, I do lots of reviews on lots of films that have come out this year, and I'm hopefully going to continue to do reviews on films that come out this year. I might even start going into other films that I'd like to review, but not just yet. I've got some other video essay plans before that. And yeah, thank you for watching. Again, if you like what you saw and want to see more, it's on the channel, and if you like it enough to subscribe, then I would really appreciate that.